This week in Geek History. This week in Geek History, we'll see the release of Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. And let me tell you, these two have been clashing heads since literally the conception of the comics. And so we are going to take you back in history through some of their most memorable battles for a tournament of champions to see who would really win in a battle between the Dark Knight and the Man of Steel. We start off in World's Finest Comics number 143, and I guess Superman gets a bullet ricocheted off his chest and it hits Batman, and Batman gets butthurt about it, and they decide to fight. I mean, this is literally like if you threw your friend in the swimming pool and then your buddy got upset and jumped out and you were fighting for a while until you noticed that all the girls were talking to the Flash. It was that bad. So, we start off giving no points to anyone. Sorry guys, maybe the bullet. The bullet gets a point. Alright, let's move on. World's Finest Comics was intent on putting Batman and Superman head-to-head against each other, and it was only 1 year later in issue number 151 where we would see them fighting for reals this time. Kinda. Alright, so they really do have a battle, but it isn't actually Batman and Superman. It's sort of these changed Batman and Superman. What could possibly pit them against each other? Well, an evolutionary ray actually is what does it. The Batman gets turned into a hyper-evolved, hyper-intelligent guy with this really giant head and big brain, and Superman gets turned into a caveman who still has all the strength of Superman. So, who would win? Brains versus bronze? Bronze, obviously. Superman beats his brains in, maybe literally. You know, it's very harsh. Anyways, Superman gets the point on this one, and we're moving on. Third time is a charm. Finally, we see Batman and Superman really head-to-head in issue number 185 of World's Finest, Galactic Gamblers. Now here, aliens steal Jimmy Olsen and Robin, and Batman and Superman have to fight each other, and there's bets being placed, and if they don't fight each other, then they risk losing their friends. Now, in this, there really isn't a real defeat of one or the other. They end up working together, but in the battle itself, I really do want to give this to Batman for a couple reasons. He's very clever in all of this. Also, if Robin and Jimmy Olsen were fighting, I think Robin would win, hands down. And also, Robin's Robin, and Jimmy Olsen's just a guy with a camera. World's Finest, number 240, How Do You Kill a Superman? Answered that question really well, and the answer was Batman. Superman becomes the king of the bottled city of Kandor, and the Kandorians actually have to call Batman because Superman is manipulated by a cat. And seriously, read it for yourself. And he ends up going and becoming evil. So Batman comes in, and ultimately he has to decide if he's going to pull the trigger or not. And he does. Now, never mind the fact that it actually ends up saving Superman's life. He pulls the trigger. Batman does it. He kills Superman. That guy's crazy. We all know that, and that's why we love him. So this point goes definitely to Batman for killing Superman. So you may think that that last battle got a little bit dark near the end, but you haven't seen anything yet, especially when we take a look at The Dark Knight Returns, issue number 4, which was released in 1986. Now, Frank Miller's series is amazing. You have to check it out. I don't want to give you too many spoilers on this, because this is an absolutely incredible story. But in issue number 4, there's one of the most epic battles between Batman and Superman. Very iconic. It is the battle that everyone bases their Batman battles on, and it's just absolutely amazing. But I do have to spoil something for you. Who won? Well, technically Batman. Well, definitely Batman, but there's a lot of debate here, and the reason being is because Batman did have an assist. There's a one-armed Green Arrow, there's a bloodbath of kryptonite arrows, and there's mechanized suits, and there's a half-hearted Superman. There's all these different elements that play, but when the dust settles, Superman is laid out flat, and Batman takes the point. But I'll let you folks debate that till the end of time. Alright, so before we even get started, yes, Batman wins again, but I'm calling shenanigans. So in 2002's The Dark Knight Strikes Again, he does. Oh, does he? And he strikes again and again and again, wearing gauntlets made of kryptonite. So Batman goes against the Man of Steel, and not only is he wearing gauntlets made of kryptonite, but he also has half of the Justice League help him to finally defeat Superman. Can we just give a point to Superman? Can I do that? Can I? Apparently I can. All right, we're just giving it to him because of gauntlets made of kryptonite. Seriously, guys. So you know what I'm always thinking, just all the time? What if Superman was a Soviet Russian? That is always on my mind. Okay, not really, but it was an absolutely fascinating story that shows the battle between nurture versus nature, and also an amazing battle between Batman versus Superman in Superman Red Son, released in 2003. So we have here this fantastic battle versus Batmaninoff and Super Comrade? I don't know. Anyways, and what we see is a definite victory for Superman. Because Batman kills himself. He's dead. He's gone. Even though the plans that he had made work out, victory goes to Superman. Batman's dead by the end of it. And the Soviet Union is a more Soviet Union-y place. So Batman thinks Superman is a threat to all of humanity. If that sounds a little familiar, well, we're not talking about Dawn of Justice, we're actually talking about Lex Luthor, Man of Steel, released in 2005. Now, this is a hands-down victory for Superman. Real, legitimate Superman wins. And I actually want to get a hold of my time phone and call Superman from 1964 to tell him, why didn't you just do this from the beginning? The victory of Superman comes from this very simple fact: distance. Now, Superman has a lot of great powers. He has the ability to not only see far distances, but then to also shoot laser eyes out of those far distances. He also has breath that can freeze people and things, and flight, and all of these other amazing things that he can do from a distance. He could literally throw a rock from 100 million miles away if he wanted to. So in this one, we see Superman completely disarm Batman, leave him in the dust without even having to do so much as lay a punch on him. And so for Lex Luthor, Man of Steel, point goes to Superman. So up next is Sacrifice, released in 2005. Now on this one, Superman is manipulated and mind controlled to thinking that he's fighting all of his enemies, but it's really just Batman. And Batman is just trying to survive. He's fighting off Superman as best as he possibly can. Now for this one, there's going to be a bit of a sacrifice. No one's getting a point. And the reason being is because Superman technically was not fighting Batman, and Batman got his ass handed to him. So no point given. We're moving on. So we're moving on to Superbat, released in 2008 by Green and Morales. Now this comic is beautifully done and is really interesting. It answers the question of what would happen if Superman were to give his powers to Batman and they had to go head to head. Now, this is one of those things where you can sort of piece it together of, well, now that he has his powers, what would Batman do in the situation to beat Superman? And quite frankly, I think Superman does it. He goes and gets the Justice League's help, and he's able to win. So the point does go to Superman, and the technicality is he had help, but Batman would do the same thing in the situation, and did. So, point to Superman, we're moving on. So this is it, everyone. The end all, the be all. This is the final battle between Batman and Superman, and we're gonna pull it from the world's finest, No More, released in 2014, which is part of the Injustice franchise. Now, this is an epic battle that shows the clash of titans truly as they are. Batman versus Superman, and Superman snaps Batman like a twig. It is done. That is it. Sorry guys, if you're Batman fans, he's just stronger. Now, I would tally up the points, but honestly, it really doesn't matter. Ultimately, what matters is what you guys think about it. I know you're gonna have a lot of debates about this, a lot of thoughts about it, and a lot of thoughts about the new Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, coming out this week. So keep it going, keep this battle happening, and we will see you here on This Week in Geek History.